I want to get one ICO. Pradeep, can you come up and get him on stage, which I did look into in detail, and I basically met him a couple of times before I decided to invest in them, and then after half a year, I basically, I even became, I'm an advisor, and I signed the document yesterday or yesterday before that at Money 2020. And Pradeep, we met, and I saw your vision. You were frustrated about the healthcare world. What do you do? What was your role in the healthcare world? What have you done there?
Well, first, it was quite a hard act to follow after Bruno's warnings. I wish I had heard him about 6 months ago.
Yeah, you're one of these evils, ICO companies,
That's right.
And you're now the next evil on stage. So you have to prove that you're trustworthy.
Sure. So first, healthcare. I've been in healthcare all my life, healthcare administration and payments. So the evil side of healthcare, another way, I'm the insurer everybody hates, because I'm the one you have to call to get permission to see a doctor. I'm the one you have to send a bill to get paid. I'm the one who tells you you're spending too much money on healthcare, and I'm the one who's going to tell you that, well, I'm not going to pay any more bills. So clearly,
you were the CIO of Blue Cross, right?
So yes, I worked in healthcare insurance all my life, both public and commercial. And the value proposition that we were looking for always in this market is, how do we give the patient and the doctor more autonomy without losing control? Because ultimately, my job is to facilitate care, not deny it when it's due, but also make sure it doesn't get abused and overused. So that's where I come from.
That's where you come from. Your life was big, huge, complicated IT systems, integrate them, connect to all the healthcare providers, and basically being frustrated in the process. You also did something which was enjoyable. You helped Bush and Obama with Obamacare, and Bush you helped with
Health savings accounts.
The health savings account, and you spent a lot of your life in these what you said, that glamorous White House where the food was really rotten, and you put it in a basement to think about healthcare policy and to come up with things on Obamacare and how to set up a thing. So how was that? How is it? That's the other side of the business where policy is made. How was that, and how did you get involved in that?
Well, it was a challenge. It was very enriching in many ways, patriotic duty and all that. You feel very gratified to be part of the team that's thinking through these big policy challenges. And when they do work, and they do work at times, you feel very, very excited.
Yeah, 20 million people got insurance thanks to your work.
Well, not mine, but we were part of the team that made it happen. So an example is health savings accounts. When we were part of the original think tank trying to put those together, universally everybody thought they will never work. Now we have 35+ million Americans with a savings account in their hand that helps them with care. It's
and
not
Obama,
perfect, but it works.
was Obama interested into this healthcare plan? Did he get involved? Did he know something about what you come up with?
Well, the healthcare group that President Obama worked with was very involved with designing one of the most fundamental changes in the US healthcare called Obamacare. It attacked healthcare from many angles. It attacked it from access to care, accountability of care, improving the number of people on the increasing the number of people on the insured pool, reducing risk for everyone. So it was as we all know, a hugely politically charged issue, but it was a very comprehensive reform that is still affecting Americans every single day.
Okay, so he's not a bad guy, and he already sold his first company when he came from India. In his dormant, you had this company, this image company. How many people worked there?
At the peak of it, over 600.
Yeah, and then he sold it, so he has money enough. Okay, and then he basically did CIO, and then he did Obama, and so he also had enough, appreciation. Why the hell did you then, start an ICO and come up with this? What was the frustration or the motivation which drove you to do that? And what problem are you trying to solve?
So the problem we are still trying to solve, we're always trying to solve, is how do we get the physician better access to patients, patients better access to physicians, and how do we accurately and timely pay them? I mean, that is a fundamental issue of third-party payment model in healthcare around the world, US or China or India. It really is the same. So what we are looking for really is to break down the very narrow network that an insurance company creates, myself included. We first sign up a bunch of doctors, we call them a provider network. Then we sign up a bunch of patients, we call them members, and then we tell them you can see each other if I permit you. That's the model. That's insurance.
And that's outside the current system, where, for like the veterans who need to find a doctor and they need to wait 3 months. There's a system for that, but you create another system based on the blockchain around that, right?
So the idea is that I don't really necessarily want to sit between the patient and the physician. If I can allow physicians to join my network at will, leave my network at will, my patient to go see the doctor they want to see, and that patient can direct that physician to join my network. So it becomes, instead of me determining who you can see, you determine who you want to see, and I determine if I can accept them in for a single transaction relationship. It fundamentally redefines what plagues insurance, which is how do I control utilization without controlling access? I want to have maximized access and minimized cost, right? Insurance is not evil. Our job is not to say, go die. We don't want our members to die. We want them to be healthy. We want them to get out of the hospital quickly. But the problem is the way we administer it feels like we are cops between patient and doctor. Okay. So the reason of blockchain that was exciting for me, and blockchain was just a technology that we felt could solve the problem, is how do I open up my network to the doctors, and how do I open up my membership to members, and how do I make it happen without me sitting there dictating a single clearinghouse every function? I still want visibility, I still want control. You are spending collective money that I've taken from you and other members like you. So I am responsible for money being wisely spent. Yeah, but at the same time, I have to manage it.
But the idea is that you are putting a role into the payment of the patient, that the healthcare provider is paid, and in an easier way, and not with direct fiat currency, but with your currency, which can be changed into dollars or whatever. So in between. And why does that make it more secure or more easier or more open? What is the promise of that?
So let me give you a simple example. My son needs a lot of care. So today, even though I'm in insurance, every single day my wife calls the insurance company, the doctor, and tries to get permission to see this psychiatrist, this pediatrician, and so on.
Because your kid needs a lot of care.
Because he has a number of issues that require constant care. So I have to call my own insurance company, get eligibility, or what is called proof of insurance, passed from them to the doctor. And the doctor then calls before she shows up with my son and re-verifies we have eligibility still, so they can actually see me and they need to know how much to charge me. It's ridiculous. It takes hours and hours and hours of her time. And that's with me having the CEO of the insurance company on speed dial. What about everybody else? So what we're looking for is a simple model. Somebody can publish my eligibility on a chain and give every doctor that I could potentially want to see access to that data. And I don't really need to, the insurance company does not need to control which doctor sees it as long as the doctor has the credentials to see it. Yeah. So if we can exchange those two credentials, then I'm out of the middle. I don't need to control eligibility verification. And that would save just my own company hundreds of millions of dollars in call center costs. Yeah. Plus it'll improve access.
Who is your first client going to be?
So our first client is a consortium of payers, or as we call them, insurance companies based in Arizona. It represents a number of large insurers that sell insurance in the state of Arizona to commercial.
How many doctors are involved?
About 6,000 doctors, which are primary care physicians, specialists, oncologists, and so on. Okay. And literally tens of billions of dollars.
And they signed up to work with you to basically be the first client. And also you, and that is a nice little test client. How many patients will be involved?
About 500,000, roughly.
500,000 and 3,000. Okay, so that's going to be the first try. So if you want to know more about him, I mean, just talk to him during the break or during the session, because this is really, this healthcare thing is a monster. It's a really huge monster, full of IT, which really doesn't work and makes everybody's life miserable. And he's trying to work around it. Let me ask you, you have raised money traditionally. You've been to VCs and got money and built a company and sold it for a lot. Why did you take the ICO route, and how do you like it? How was the experience?
Well, it was quite a journey. We got into ICO thinking that this will give us greater autonomy. That's a fundamental reason. We didn't think that adoption would be fast. We figured that this kind of a fundamental shift in insurance, a conservative play everywhere around the world, would take decades. So if we bring in VC money, IPO, our expectations of timelines would be too tight. So we went with the ICO route, but we also realized it was full of pitfalls. Many of them Bruno talked about. And many of them we studiously avoided. Maybe not all, but most of the pitfalls you avoid.
You had people on the advisory board which then started to be advisor at other companies which you didn't agree with, and so you had to take them out. And
yes. I mean, you just follow good common sense, right? In the end, what do I want to do if I was putting my own money and my family did put money in my own project? So you got to treat their money as yours. That's a basic rule of investing properly. So yes, you have to avoid the paid shilling and the paid promotions. And yeah, it's much harder. I spoke at over 100 conferences. We were very modest in our raise, but we felt that we, in the end, got to a better place. And our clients like the fact that we have a 3-year runway in front of us. So they aren't afraid to contract with us as they would if I was VC funded and I had 6 months runway. And then I could get the rug pulled out from under my feet.
How much money did you raise?
About 20 million.
20 million. And that will bring you to the production, and for the next 2 years you have enough money to develop it.
Well, we are a little bit ahead of schedule, so we are revenue positive, and we will be not dependent upon our ICO money by the end of the year. But it's reserves. We will use it to buy other companies that are valuable to us. But the point is, it gives us the stability to say we have the resources and the reserves.
Would you do it again?
I'll have to think about that. It was quite a journey, and my wife certainly would have a factor in that.
He had to talk in 100 conferences. Every time I basically had him, he was in Dubai, and he was here, and he was really extremely international, right? The VC industry is extremely local. Somebody from San Francisco does not invest in LA, and certainly not in Boston, except if it's above 100 million. And now, these ICOs, they go all over the place. And money comes from China, comes from Korea, it's extremely international, and it's liquid. I mean, it has really a lot of benefit, but also the scams, and did you meet a lot of idiots who were raising money on that journey?
There were a lot of ICOs I would not invest in.
Okay,
that we ran into, and they shared the stage with.
Pradeep, thank you very much.
My
Go
pleasure.
talk to him because he has a lot more to say.